A lot of people suffer with anxiety because people with low anxiety didn't survive. My son has anxiety so badly that he doesn't leave the house. It has effectively kicked him out of the gene pool. Hardly great for survival of the species. We fear death because our ancestors who didn't fear death generally died off pretty quickly. That's not how that works at all. Now, anxiety comes from trauma, usually complex childhood trauma, independent of evolution entirely. Anxiety is a modern phenomenon. You're confusing anxiety with cautiousness. Nope, we are just too anxious to step outside the house so you don't see us. People will come up with leaps of logic to explain why their shallow and materialistic society is not making them ill. A polar bear walks into a bar and says to the bartender, "I'll take a rum and Coke." Bartender says, "What's with the pause?" Reminds me of the joke where a panda bear walks into a bar and orders a beer. He gobbles up some of the free peanuts, takes out a gun, shoots at the ceiling and then starts heading out. The bartender says, "Hey, what was that about? Also, how about paying for the beer before you go?" The panda tosses the bartender a dictionary and says, "I'm a panda. Look it up." The bartender looks up panda and sees the definition. Panda, a bear native to China, eats, shoots, and leaves. Congratulations, you earned out loud monotone haha. As a fellow dad, I was just barely able to bear this joke. Only bears have the right to bear arms. I am James Sakori, author of The Expanse and pen name of Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank, Emma. Let me be the first to ask what everybody wants to know. Will we get a film or TV of the final 3 books? And thanks for writing one of the most enjoyable series I've ever read. Amazing stuff. Hello Den and Ty, can you share any news info about the upcoming Ursula Le Guin-inspired trilogy? So excited to read more from you guys. The Expanse Broadway musical. 1. Current plans. If Joe Biden knocked on your door right now wanting to chat, what would you do? The hell is Biden doing in the Netherlands? Asking him how long he's in Australia. Does he know that it's 4 in the morning? And how did he gain building access and get up in the lift without a pass? It's the President of the United States. I'm inviting him in and whipping out my best china. And after he leaves, I'm getting with the highest bidding news company for an all-access exclusive on what it was about. Nice try, Secret Service. Grab the camera and get the full story on Corn Pop. I would invite him in and try to convince him to an executive order for the installation of bidets in all toilets. This should be met with bipartisan approval. Till the actor who set the record for playing the same character the most number of times was Hong Kong actor Kwon Tak-hing, who played martial artist folk hero Wong Fei Hung in 77 films. The next closest actor is Christopher Lee, who played Dracula 10 times in his career. Shintaro Katsu played Zatoichi for something like 26 films. To know where the Christopher Lee stat came from. Law, so what's with the thumbnail then? No Christopher Lee pics on the internet. What about that Hispanic actor who has played a guy named Hector like a million times? TIL that in 1963, the British Army tested how long a WWI Vickers machine gun could fire. It fired 5 million rounds, firing continuously for 7 days, an average of 500 rounds per minute for 10,000 minutes. That sounds a little suspicious. It doesn't sound impossible. But you'd have to have 5 million rounds on hand and the manpower available to go a whole week. The young private who volunteered to hold the target was promptly mopped up and mailed back to his family. I think everyone here is forgetting the Vickers was water-cooled. Of course, it would last a long time with a constant supply of fresh, cool water. TAL that those who systematically take naps had a 37 lower coronary mortality. Systematically, like every day, because I'm down for a nap daily. I'm guessing those who have the time and money to lay down stress-free to take a nap every day have much less stress in their lives in general. Maybe it's the lifestyle and not the nap that's make them live longer. That would be my guess. Also, napping on a regular basis was associated with a 12 higher risk of developing high blood pressure and a 24 higher risk of having an ischemic stroke. Link. I guess napping can be healthy, but can also be a sign that something's wrong with you. Am I interpreting that right? I'm gonna live forever. Think of how much money you'd save being a nudist. You couldn't carry any of that money though. I'm wondering about all the fines and other legal fees you may have to pay out, especially given that you don't have any pockets for a wallet. How often are you buying clothes? Heating costs. I layer up in the winter so I don't have to crank the heat. Sunscreen isn't cheap, bro. I'd have to pay to get the shit stains off the sofa. Nice try, neighbor with view of my living room. Seeing as how I live in cold weather, I'd be losing money for medicine a lot. Depending on where you live, you could be paying a lot more in heating and or cooling bills. I'd have to spend so much money on sunscreen, personally speaking. Literally tens of dollars a year. Virtually everyone who wears a polo shirt has never played polo. Fun fact, the polo shirt was actually created by Lacoste to play tennis. A brief history text: tennis 20, not 20 polo 3F. The 21st 20 ever 20 polo 20 shirt 20 was. For 20 tennis 20 by 20 Ren C3 920 Lacoste. But virtually everyone who plays polo has worn a polo shirt. More like everyone can't afford a horse. Yeah, and cheeseburgers. This is not to take away from the original post, but I believe polos were actually invented for tennis and not polo, despite the name. Source. I played kayak polo. No shirts of any type were worn. Literally everyone who wears wife beaters beats their wives. What's the easiest way you lost weight? The first girl I loved cheated on me. I lost 40 pounds in a month. A coworker asked me if I had cancer. Best diet ever. Stopped drinking sugary drinks and switched to water, like 20 pounds in very short order without doing any exercise. Walking daily, cutting out sugar. And I cannot stress this enough, cocaine. Food poisoning did wonders for my skin too. Flushed the whole system out. Amputation. 10 years ago when I gave up soda, dropped 20 pounds in 3 months. Just switched over to unsweetened tea and sparkling water. Stomach flu. Divorce. Whoever gets born in space first will be an instant celebrity. Everybody's born in space. Where else would you be born? Damn it, I'm imagining that baby just floating there, midair, umbilical cord waiting to be cut. And now it looks kind of like a knockoff of a Nirvana album cover. Without looking it up, what's the name of the first test tube? First baby born off world will have a similar level of fame. A large amount of media recognition at birth, possibly flamed by any surrounding controversies. Then diminishing footnotes as they hit life milestones. Maybe more if they or their guardians seek to capitalize on it with the broad availability of social media, but they could just as easily live a life of relative anonymity. I might try to be that person. You can defeat any sneeze by refusing to inhale. If you're the maniacs or if it's me. But losing a sneeze is right below being punched the dick in terms of total disappointment and irritation. I can't stand when the sensation comes and I don't get to execute the sneeze. I love sneezing. It, guys, might break a rib though. You can also permanently defeat yourself by refusing to inhale. You can solve every problem of yours by not breathing. The trick is, when you feel a sneeze coming on, lick the roof of your mouth. Makes the reflex go away. You can also press on the bone in between your nose and upper lip with your finger. That will make it go away as well.